Hey, Happy Horror Time listeners. Before you check out this episode, we have some awesome news to share. Tim, Jacob, and I will be hosting a movie screening plus Q&A at the Lumiere Cinema in Beverly Hills, California on Saturday, September 30th at 7:30 p.m. We're screening the original Hell House LLC, a really scary found footage horror film from 2015 that was only released on demand, so this is your chance to see it on the big screen.
Not only that, but we'll be hosting a live Q&A directly following the film with producer Joe Bandelli and the star who played Sarah, Ryan Jennifer Jones. We'll also be giving away some Hell House LLC swag.
So if you live in or around the Los Angeles area, please come down and support our first live event ever. You can grab tickets now for only $14 at www.lumierecinema.la.com. That's LUMIERE cinemala.com. Just scroll down and click on the Happy Horror Time Hell House LLC tab. And again, it's on Saturday, September 30th at 7:30 p.m.
Hope to see you there. Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name's Tim Murdoch.
And my name's Matt Emmert, and my stomach just grumbled.
I heard it. God, you're loud.
I'm so sorry. I guess I'm hungry. It goes. The best part, listeners, is that before we record, we record some seconds of silence. I know you want to know this, just because to have some atmosphere fill if we want before
they don't care.
They don't care. But during that silence, we were sitting here, and my stomach grumbled, and we laughed.
I did laugh because you just drank a huge smoothie.
I did drink a huge smoothie. It was healthy. I think it was healthy. Was yours healthy?
You know what's crazy? We walked in there and I was like, oh, I want something green. I walked out with something purple.
Yeah, you did. Exactly. Well, see, the thing about smoothies, you know what? Forget horror movies. We're going to talk nutrition.
Health talk.
So the thing about smoothies is that it depends. If you add a ton of sugar and other shit to it, it's not healthy.
Was mine healthy? I have no idea.
I don't even know. It just looked purple. I think
it's acai.
That can't be natural. Purple? Oh, yeah. Acai is natural.
Is it really? What plant is acai from?
Blueberries.
Oh, okay.
I think. Right. Purple can be like beets or blueberries.
I hate beets.
I love beets.
Do you know my story about beets?
No.
Okay, it's a good one.
But
it's not that great.
Can I sing you a Saved by the Bell song with beep, ba beep, ba 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 beep, 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 ba beep, ba 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 beep, go Bayside, Saved by the Bell.
How's that have to do anything with
because the word beats. Anyway, go on, tell your story. It's better, I'm sure.
No, it's not. It's not that great. So my parents were like, try a beet.
How old were you?
Oh God. 7.
Okay, too young to have beets.
Yeah. So I don't like it. And my parents were like, have a beet. And they're like, take a bite and then just wash it down with some milk.
Ew.
And I was like, okay. So I did. I grabbed the milk real quick. And then we just got brand new carpet in the kitchen. Brand spanking new.
And?
I spit that milk and beat all over the carpet.
I thought you were going to say you barfed.
I mean, in a way, it's barfing, yes, but it's not coming from my stomach. It's just coming from my mouth.
Tell me more, please.
Okay.
Please.
Well, sometimes when you put something in your mouth and it doesn't go all the way down, it's just kind of in your mouth.
Oh, this is getting dirty. Clean it up. Well, I have a story of...
But I mean, it was white carpeting.
Okay, well, first off, nobody should have white carpeting. That's weird.
In a kitchen.
Yeah. Secondly, when I was a kid, I don't know why, but for some reason, my parents, I think put cream cheese and jelly together on something. I don't know if it was bread or a bagel. All I remember is I ate it.
People want a horror movie podcast. They found it.
I know, that's a horror. So I barfed. Yeah. I mean, but think about it. Cream cheese and jelly. But I guess that's not that bad.
No, I mean, people do that on bagels all the time.
It didn't work for young Matt, okay?
I think you're going to say for young men.
If it doesn't work for young men.
But we need to discuss right now The Bachelorette, when it was during the pandemic, and it was Claire, the oldest bachelor, who was 39, and this guy said
well, she made this. Wow, this is a blast from the past. She made all the guys do a strip football game or something, and then he was so offended because he has a young daughter. And then what did she say? She said, should never have to deal with men like that.
But the way one thing about The Bachelor is it's very repetitive. They're previously on, and they'll show the clip 100 times.
Yes.
So that is why it's still ingrained in my skull.
They showed that clip 100 times.
Claire goes, men like that.
So if you ever hear Tim and I say men like that, now you know.
It's
Thank
because
you.
we've been brainwashed by ABC The Bachelor and hashtag The Bachelorette.
Bachelor Nation. One thing we got to mention that happened a couple weeks ago that we were just, it would kind of like made our day was we had one of our listeners, his name is Art Khan. He saw us at a Tender Greens and recognized us and came up to us and said like he was a big fan and loved the podcast. And like, it was really awesome.
I know, he made my day. You know, he made my week. No, he made my month.
But how about your year?
Yeah, and he made my year.
How about your decade? Sorry.
Wow.
No, it was just cool because, you know, we started doing this just for fun and, you know, it's gotten to be bigger than we had imagined it would get. And now it's really cool that some people actually know who we are.
I mean, honestly, I forget that, like, I'm just talking to you in your bedroom. That sounds so dirty.
No, or we're talking to horror celebs, but we just want to thank you, Art, for coming up to us, for being a fan of the podcast, for listening. And yeah, it totally made our day. So thank you.
So thank you so much. And you know what? We're going back to that Tender Greens.
Always. Actually, every week we have a standing arrangement to meet Art on Tuesdays at 7 p.m.
Right. No, I mean, like, we weren't even going to go to Tender Greens.
We were hungry and I wanted something
actually,
that
you were a little more hungry than I was.
I was starving and I didn't want like fast food
and I
like
wanted
Tim
to,
likes to get.
I wanted to walk past the bars and see some guys.
On a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You're gonna
and you
have
were like,
prime
like,
people.
let's go. And
I was
I'm
like, I've got to work tomorrow,
You're
bitch.
like, how long is this shortcut?
It's a horrible shortcut. No, and this month has been really great. If you've been listening to the podcast, well, a few weeks ago we had Adrienne King, which was huge for us because she's the original Final Girl, Tim's favorite. Well, actually, wait, is
I
Adrienne
love all
King,
the Friday the 13th.
That's the thing, because you love all the Final Girls.
I love Adrienne King.
Yeah, no, but she was just that interview. Again, if you haven't checked it out, it was one of our favorites because she just had so much incredible stuff to say. And especially as fans of the original Friday the 13th, there's so much you can learn from it. And then last week.
And then there'll be a test.
And then there'll be, yes, we're doing a pop quiz. And then last week we released our interview with John Ottman, who directed Urban Legend's Final Cut and did the original score for Halloween H2O. And it was just a really cool interview because it's like a director who does scores and editing, and he won an Oscar. He does it all, but he also won an Oscar. And I think that is our first Oscar winner, right?
Yeah.
We have not interviewed an Oscar winner, so
but
that was cool.
we have interviewed people who have watched the Oscars.
You know, that's an honor.
It's an honor.
Excuse me, do you watch the Oscars? Oh, thank you.
Did you enjoy when Will Smith smacked that guy?
Slap that guy. You mean Chris Rock?
Right.
Still gonna be one of, it's like, you know, when they do
but
those,
it's all
like,
connected because Chris Rock was in Saw and we talked about Saw.
Men like that.
Men like that, Claire.
Now it's gonna be all the time. So yeah, but what I want to say, without being too much of a tease, is that we've got some really cool interviews coming up, like some really big stuff that we don't want to spoil, even though we spoil movies, but we're not going to spoil the interviews by telling you yet. But we've got some big ones coming up, so stay tuned. Because
big ones.
Well, September and October are going to be big.
Big ones just sound so like the movie Porky's.
God, was 1976 or what? You can't be like American Pie or something a little
the
more.
Porky's were in the 80s.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, all of them.
They just feel like ages ago.
There's Porky's 2 the next
Revenge.
day, and then there's Porky's The Revenge.
Do you want to hear something that you probably are going to?
You've never seen any?
Never seen any of them.
They're interesting films.
Well, you know what? I will
Kim
take.
Cattrall's in it.
Sheree.
Exactly.
You mean Samantha Jones from And Just Like That?
August 24th is her big scene.
Is it August 24th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, another thing. Well, no, that's probably all the news for the. Here's the thing. Like, as much as I want to continue talking about the live event we're hosting, the Hell House screening at the end of September, we've put that little intro on the beginning of our episode, so you can't help but hear it. So maybe we'll talk about it a few more times, but I don't want to mention it every episode or people are going to be like, we get it. You're doing a live event.
We get it. You're going to be in Beverly Hills.
I know, as we throw stuff in. But again, it's at the Lumiere Cinema, Saturday, September 30th. We're hosting a Q&A and a screening of the original Hell House LLC movie.
LLC.
Be there or...
B Square.
Where did that come from? What does B Square mean?
Yeah, as someone who has been called a square all my life.
No, you haven't.
Oh my God, yes I have.
A square? That sounds like something like my grandparents would have said.
Well, maybe it was grannies.
You're like, maybe it was your grandparents.
Maybe it was your granny.
Wait, as a square, is that supposed to mean like queer or different, I guess?
No, I took it as like square means like you're not going to get out of line. You're not going to get into trouble.
I always thought square was like odd or different. I don't know.
No, square means like, didn't you? I think it's in like Hairspray, right? She goes, "Oh, you're such a square."
Oh, yeah, like a weirdo, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
I always looked at it as someone who doesn't get in trouble.
Well, you know what, Tim? I just think we shouldn't use shapes as insults.
You're such a triangle.
You are such a dodecahedron.
Oh, you're such a circle.
It's like, see, that's like, keep it with shapes, keep it in geometry.
There's one shape that's really hard to...
Dodecahedron? Octagon? Hexagon?
Octagon, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think octagon's cool because it's got 8 sides. It's called a stop sign.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you know what? Enough of this shit. We want to get to this movie that we are talking about this week. All I want to say is, hey, Tim, talk to me.
Hey, Matt, talk to me.
I mean, you can't say the title of this film without, like, just giving a little giggle.
It sounds like a, what was the name of that?
1980s comedy?
No, there was a movie with David Duchovny and Minnie Driver. And what was it? Is it called, like, Listen to Me or Look at Me?
Oh, is it?
We can't go on until we know this title.
I mean, then you're going to have to Google it, bitch, because I have no idea what you're talking about. I wouldn't even know what to type in. Minnie Driver, Look at Me?
Minnie Driver, and it's like oh, fuck it. Never mind.
Well, now I'm interested. I hate when I have those moments too, when I can't think of...
Minnie Driver and David Duchovny were in this movie, and I think Bonnie Hunt is in it too.
Oh, God, I have no idea.
It's called Return to Me.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, I guess that's close.
It was made in 2000.
You got To Me, right? But
the movie Talk to Me sounds like a romantic comedy like Return to Me in 2000.
Well, you know what? It probably has nothing to do with it plot-wise. It took me a long time to get there. I was like, that was a long stretch. Well, I mean, sometimes it takes me a long time. I have to look up things. My favorite is when we're doing interviews and the person we're interviewing can't think of a name, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'll get it. And it takes me like forever. And it's like, we're way past the question. I think I did that in one of our recent ones. I was like, oh, it's this person. It may have been John Ottman, actually. I don't remember. Anyway, so this movie, it's an Australian horror movie, and it was getting tons of buzz before we saw it. I mean, it's been rated incredibly high on Rotten Tomatoes. It was, people were really looking forward to it. The trailer was played 1 million times, and they were really pushing this film. So we had to see it, of course.
People were walking out saying this is on the TV ads. They say it's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, and especially when you get a quote like that, of course they're going to use that in marketing. It's like the greatest thing ever. So anyway, the thing about Talk to Me is that it has a really good, quick, shocking opening scene. Because yes.
You know what? Go see it on a big screen. There's whoever did the sound editing on this movie. It was the first time in a long time that the sound really affected me.
Really?
I think it really
like the
punches.
Score or just
like the sound, like the noises, like.
Oh. Was it the theater we were in that was like play? There's so many different types of theaters, from like laser to digital something to IMAX. Well,
whatever
it wasn't IMAX.
It was working.
Yes, no, it was. Well, okay, so the opening scene, it looks like it's like a frat party or something, and there's this
big old
guy,
house party.
Yeah, or some sort of house party, and you see this guy. His name is Cole, and he keeps going through the party looking for his brother, who's named Duckett. Which, by the way,
2 tears in a bucket.
Duckett. Fuck it. I would hate to have that name because I feel like all you'd be called is fuck it. Hey,
exactly.
Fuck it, Duckett.
Well, and they really had like a big opening with there was a lot of extras in that.
It's a huge party scene, and the scene only goes on for like 2 minutes. But the guy is like, "Where's my brother? Where's my brother?" He's really concerned about his brother.
He finds him in behind this door. It's locked.
Well, he had to break down the door because the brother would not answer the door, and he breaks down the door. And when he finds him, the guy's shirtless, and he looks like he's in a trance.
Yeah, and it looks like he has scratches all over his body.
Yes, that's true. And so he's trying to get his brother out. Everybody's got their phones out and is filming him. And then out of nowhere, his brother takes a knife, stabs him, and then stabs himself in the head to kill him. In the face. It is really quick and really shocking. And at that point, you thought that the brother who got stabbed got killed and the guy killed himself. The brother ended up surviving, but the guy did kill himself.
Yeah, I don't know if you can survive with a knife to your face.
Not to a knife to the face. Yeah, the guy just stabs himself in the face.
It was okay, if they show me that, what are they going to show me next?
Well, and everybody in the theater was shocked by it. It really I don't want to use marketing speak. It really took a hold of you and never never let go.
I was in a weird state when I got into the theater because I came from West Hollywood to the Valley. Thank you. I'm just kidding. No, but like it took me an hour and 12 minutes to get to the theater, just like parking in the Valley.
So I remember you came in
frantic
right before the movie started. I'm talking end of previews. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was in a weird, like, I needed to calm down.
And the first thing you see is a guy stick a knife in his face.
Right. So I was already like a little jarred.
And did you want to say, talk to me?
I said, you guys need to return to me, starring Minnie Driver and David Duchovny.
I never want to hear about that movie again. So anyway, right after that, we switch to our main star who's named Mia. And Mia is played by Sophie Wilde. She's an Australian accent. Or I don't want to say
Sophie,
I know.
I thought you said Australian accent.
She has an Australian, well, she does, but she's an Australian actress. But I don't actually even want to say that just because this was made in Australia. I don't even know if they're all Australian, but they did have accents.
We have to say this. For maybe the first 20 minutes of the movie, everyone's accent's really thick that I did need subtitles.
It was, and I hate sounding like an ignorant American saying this,
Too
but
late.
It is true that sometimes when I'm watching British or Australian films, because I'm not used to the way they speak English, it's hard for me to understand. But I would assume it's the same for them hearing us in our dumb American accents.
Right, exactly. Like, I don't care that their accents are thick. Like, it didn't take me out of the movie.
No, I loved it. But I do know what you're saying. There were some things that it kind of rolled off the tongue, and I wasn't sure what they said.
I was like, is that important?
I know. Well, again, unfortunately, you can't put subtitles on a movie screen unless there are some movie. I think there's some like devices and things.
There are some hearing impaired screenings.
That's good. That's good. But like, even if it shouldn't be not hearing impaired. How about accent impaired? And you just need the subtitles.
You know what? You really went there.
No, I just you dick. Again, I think that people who aren't or don't know, hey, I feel the same about accents from different parts of this country that I don't understand.
Trust me, I have trouble just hearing anything.
I went to school in Boston. Have you heard a really thick Massachusetts accent?
Only in Good Will Hunting.
Well, yes, it ain't pretty. But I mean, everybody thinks that Californians talk like idiots. So
well, there's some truth in that.
I guess the surfer talk. Anyway, we switch to our main character Mia, and you can tell it's like she's celebrating. It's the second anniversary of her mother. Her mother had committed suicide, and it's like been 2 years, and they're doing like an anniversary like thing.
I have to confess this.
Okay.
Oh, so they went from that guy stabbing his face to her being really sad. You thought it was her funeral? I thought she was mourning that guy that stabbed him in the face. It was such a quick turnaround. I was like, wait, who's she mourning?
No, you're totally right, because she's in black and they're mourning, but she does end up mentioning that it's her mom that died. But what's weird is that you can tell she has a very awkward relationship now with her dad, and she doesn't want to be around him. And what she has been doing is staying at her friend's house most of the time and really kind of adopting them as her family, because her friend Jade, it's like her best friend, she has a younger brother named Riley who she kind of is like a surrogate older sister to, and they have this like cool mom.
She's like what is her job that takes her away? Like, what is she?
Was she a doctor? Was she a?
I want to say nurse, but I don't.
Or something. But she's played by Miranda Otto, who was the name that I recognized from this movie because she's been in a lot, and I recognized her face. And she plays the mom, and she's kind of cool, and they've got this like fun relationship. And like for instance, there's the like big first scene, like Mia. Riley, which is the little brother of her friend Jade, asks her for a ride home, and she picks him up, and they're like driving home, and they accidentally or they see a deer in the middle.
It was a kangaroo.
Oh shit, you're right. I'm so used to like
deer.
Sorry,
this movie takes place in Australia.
I know, you're so right. I'm just so used to like American movie hit in the road. It's a dog or a deer, but you're right. It was a kangaroo.
Absolutely. In your defense, a lot of the horror movies we see,
it's a deer, right?
It's a deer. Yes.
No, you're totally right. So the kangaroo is like suffering, and first, like Riley, who's probably like 13, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like
he's like, you should just like either get it to a vet or run it over.
He said, let's put it out of its misery.
And she's about to go and hit it full on, and then she decides she can't and turns away.
I was like, the first thing I thought, I was like, this situation is gonna come into play later.
I will say this: the camera angle for the scene was really good, because you think that she's gonna run it over, and the camera is right like on the ground where the kangaroo is, and I was so uncomfortable. I don't ever want to see an animal run over.
Not like, and they also made. I don't know what a dying kangaroo sounds like, but it sounded.
don't?
I don't. I wish I did.
I mean, please. I feel like it's what I go to bed listening to.
It was like
dying kangaroo sounds.
Well, it's just like in the movie Jaws: The Revenge, like when they make the shark go roar.
Oh, because the kangaroo had some weird noise.
The kangaroo sounded like a dying dinosaur.
It did have a little bit of a dinosaur
like,
sound to it.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, I first thought it was like a cow or something, the way it was like.
Well, first off, it had so many cow noises. And then when they got out, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. They're in Australia. That's a kangaroo.
You're like, now where's the koala bear? Let's get more stereotypes.
Right. What's the disease that koalas have?
Koala disease?
No, but there is a disease that they give out.
I don't fucking know. What? Koala disease?
Yeah, there is something that
Koala holla?
No, but it's like a weird... I'm going to have to look it up.
If you get back to that movie with Minnie Driver, I'm off.
Okay, this is what I have to say. It's called Return to Me, starring Minnie Driver and David Duchovny.
Please never check this movie out, everyone. No. So anyway, yes, I thought it was going to come. So next, you get some family dynamics between Mia and her friend Jade and like the younger brother Riley, and they decide to sneak out to like a friend's party. Oh, before they sneak out, Jade shows Mia these videos of it looks like someone's possessed, and she's like, that's not true, and they're like, oh, let's see if it is or whatever, and they end up sneaking out to their friend's house. They have to bring the younger brother Riley
because he's not blackmailing her, but he's like saying like, hey, you didn't come pick me up, Mia had to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I'm going to tell mom we're sneaking out, so take it with you. So they go to like their friend's house, and there's already a little weird dynamic between Jade, and she has like a boyfriend who I guess is really religious. Like they haven't even kissed yet. His name's Daniel.
Daniel and Jade have not kissed for 3 months, but I guess back in elementary school, Mia and Daniel had like a little something.
Yeah, little fling. So there's a weird dynamic because Jade is with Daniel, even though they're not like doing anything. But
you know what? Why rush it?
Well, Mia, you can tell, may have some feelings for Daniel. They're still friends, but anyway, getting to that later.
Okay, wait. So I just wanted to let you know that koalas are known for having chlamydia.
Shut up!
I
seriously?
swear to God, yeah. So I just wanted you to know that.
I can because I didn't get chlamydia from no koala. You know what I'm saying?
There's more. I mean, I'm not gonna do much research, but I'm just letting you know.
I think you should. I
think
you should spend.
The origins of chlamydia in koalas aren't confirmed. It's kind of like that gerbil story with Richard Gere.
I mean, if you hear it once,
it's true.
I think that you should spend the rest of the podcast informing our listeners about chlamydia and koalas.
But I think chlamydia originated from koalas. Okay, go on.
So they get to this party, and so they are introduced to this hand. Now, their friend says that the hand is what it came from, like an old medium, or it was like, what would they say?
We know that from the beginning of the film that,
What?
It's not going to be good.
Oh, yeah. But what was the origins of the hand? They just said basically...
Oh, it's koalas.
Oh, yes. It had chlamydia. So they cut it's a hand. It's like a calcified hand or something like that.
You have one in your home.
Well, yeah, it is really funny because Jacob has this like kind of hand prop that like, it's kind of creepy and we like it because we like creepy stuff, but we just have it on one of our like bookshelves. And Tim's like, oh my God, you have a talk to me hand.
You do have a talk to me hand.
I mean,
did you guys come home and look at that immediately?
I didn't even remember. Seriously, it's at the bottom of a bookshelf. I barely remember it's there.
I walked in first thing.
And you're like, talk to me.
So I was like, talk to me. And then I got possessed and I killed you both.
Okay, just kidding. No. So they explained that this game of sorts is that if you put your hand on the hand and you hold it, you first say, talk to me, and you'll see like spirits. And then you have to say, I'll let you in, and they'll possess you. So right away, Mia decides, I'll volunteer to do it. But the way they film the scene is really good because she puts her hand on the hand, and right when she says, talk to me.
Before they do that, they strap her in with a belt or something?
Oh, yes, because they're like, don't worry, you're going to need it. Oh, and they also explain that you cannot, after you say, I'll let you in, you can only let the spirit in for 90 seconds or it'll stay like in you forever. So like they have a timer.
First off,
who wants to do this?
Like, I know. I'm like, that's the thing. You do kind of have to suspend your disbelief. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
you have to suspend your
yeah,
that's what I'm attempting to say. Because like I don't know if I would ever want to do this ever.
Well, the thing is that so I remember as like a teenager playing like doing the Ouija board and things like that, but I would never do something like this, especially after what happens is Mia does it, and right when she says talk to me, and the camera is filming from her POV, and immediately she sees a creepy spirit like just sitting in front of her. And I don't know about you, but that'd be enough for me. But the funny thing is she gets freaked out, but she continues doing it. They're like, don't worry, you're going to see something.
It's kind of like the movie Ghost when Whoopi Goldberg like brings in the spirit to talk to Demi.
It's nothing like that.
It's exactly like that.
You in danger, girl.
Well, I mean, not when she's Whoopi, but remember there's that scene where Patrick Swayze's inside Whoopi.
You're right, but Patrick Swayze's not like a demon.
Right, but he's still dead.
Say Whoopi again.
Whoopi.
Okay. Anyway, so she says talk to me, and she sees like a spirit. I think right when the first time she does it, she like lets go because she's afraid, but she does it again. She says talk to me. She sees someone different, and then she says I'll let you in, and immediately it's almost like someone blew a fan at her. She goes like
and then her eyes become so fucked up.
Yeah, they're like all fully black.
If everyone can see that, why would they want to partake?
Well, that's the thing. So she's obviously possessed, and they're filming her, and she starts looking and talking weird, and she takes this weird interest on the little boy Riley. She's like looking at him, and it's so creepy. But what happens is that when the end of the 90 seconds, they're trying to pull the hand off her, and the spirit who's possessed her won't let go, and it takes them a while, and so they go over 90 seconds, and that's not going to be good for me.
No, because let me tell you this, it's a horror film and it's set up brilliantly.
Yes, exactly. And so here's the thing, but other than yes, everyone's freaked out, but after she does it, they like all start laughing like it's the coolest thing ever.
They're watching like a basketball game.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah. I'm like, you just had a spirit in one of your friend's souls.
It's just crazy. And so like what happens is after that, like they go home, and Mia, she looks okay, but she looks a little like she's sitting in the dark.
Rightfully so. She had a spirit in her body.
Yes, and then like I think there's a scene, isn't there a scene because Riley, the young kid, is scared.
He's scared, and he like the sister's like, I'm gonna sleep with the French bulldog. Get out.
Yes, and Riley sleeps with Mia, who's been crashing on this family's couch.
So when he passes out, Mia's hands are not her hands.
It looks weird. Like there's something that has stayed with her. And at this point, you don't know what, but you know that something from this spirit talk to me game has stuck with her. But what do these kids do? They decide to go do it again another night.
And it's at Jade in, what's the little boy's name?
Riley's
house.
They decide to do it at their house, but what happens is they do this big. First off, Jade's boyfriend Daniel, who up until this point you think is this like perfect little prudish boy, does it, but this is the best.
He is.
He says, "Talk to me." And then he says, I'll let you in. And when he gets possessed, this hilarious moment ensues.
It is by a horny ghost.
It must be a horny ghost. He starts touching himself and then humping the ground, and he proceeds to make out with the dog.
The French bulldog and him make out because this ghost is horny.
But what's so funny is that I'm wondering, as the actor, it looked like it was him making out with the dog. Like their tongues are like all over each other. So he had to be slobbering, making out, tonguing a dog.
Right. It's called acting.
How much would you have to be paid for that, Tim?
Listen,
You're like
if I get
$10.
residuals for life, okay.
$10?
$10.
10,000.
Yes.
I would have done it for 10,000 too. But it's just so funny. But here's the thing.
It's called acting.
After this happens, again, this is what drove me crazy. They're not like freaked out. They're like having fun. Like Tim said, like it's a football game.
Again.
So there's this montage of all of them doing it, like one by one, and all being taken over,
it's
and
like
crazy shit happening.
It's like a montage of being
possessed, and they're acting like it's like a game. And I knew watching this, I'm like, this is not going to end well. But the only level-headed person at this get-together is Jade, because Jade is like, I don't want any part of this, and don't let Riley do it. He's too young, whatever. Well, what happens was Jade goes outside for a bit, and Riley starts to beg Mia, please let me do it.
He's like, because the 90 seconds is the rule, and he's like 60 seconds. And then Mia's like, because she's really close to the sister and the brother, and she's like, okay, 50 seconds.
And I knew, bad idea, do not let a kid get, first off, none of them should, I mean, they're all kids, they're even teenagers.
But I want to say immune system, but that's
his
not
immune system is not okay for spirit possession.
It can't do spirit possession.
But he's just such a young little kid. And so anyway, while Jade is outside, because she never would have approved, they let the kid do it. And he says, talk to me. And then he says, I'll let you in. And he gets possessed. And right away, he turns to Mia and starts addressing her like her mom who committed suicide
It's like her mom's voice. So of course, Mia is so into this.
And she's like, oh my God, it's my mom. It's my mom. Not thinking for 1 second, sometimes there could be bad spirits pretending to be like, has she seen any ghost movies?
No. And you know what? She needs to watch Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze, and Demi Moore.
Wait, tell me about the movie with Minnie Driver one more time.
Oh, okay. It's called Return to Me. It's good with David Duchovny.
Well, so Riley start talking to her, and Mia thinks it's her mom. And 50 seconds go by, and they're like, "We have to remove the hand. It's been too long." She's like, "No, it's my mom. I may not get a chance to talk to her again." So Mia is being pretty selfish and ignoring the rules. It gets past 60. Says it gets past 90 seconds,
and then
finally,
my God,
something turns in Riley. And he starts convulsing and then starts banging his own head against like the desk, and the wall.
And then his chair flies backwards into like this window. And then there's like a shelf there. And then he's literally banging his
bashing
face.
His head, and you
Blood
see it. It's
everywhere.
done so well. I mean, the intensity of this scene. Everyone in the theater had a hard time watching this because you're watching someone bang your head at full blast against walls and bookcases, and then he tries to rip out his own eye.
Oh yeah, that was disturbing. And then his sister tries to like protect him. So she
runs in as it's happening. Yeah.
The sister Jade runs in and is like, "Oh my God, everyone needs to stop this." She throws her hand in front of his face so it doesn't.
He's literally about to. He's bashed his head so much. It's basically like if he hits it again, he's probably going to die. And she puts her head in front of, her hand
bookshelf?
in front of the bookshelf. So he slams his head on his hand.
And then her hand is like smashed.
Yeah. So finally they get the hand off him, and he's like almost dead. I mean, he has bashed his head so much he almost ripped his eye off. And the cops come. They have to take him to the hospital.
Well, first off, Mia is in such a state of shock. She kind of walks away from the whole situation. Everything in the background's like everyone's like, okay, we have to get our story straight because how are they going to explain this?
That?
Like, talk to me.
When they go to the hospital, the mom, Miranda Otto, immediately assumes that they gave him some sort of drug because, what are they going to tell him?
Because apparently Mia had a history of drugs after her mom passed.
I think maybe she smoked pot.
That's a drug, Matt.
But what happens was right at this moment, I remember thinking, why did you let him do it? And rightfully, Jade and her mom are pissed at Mia and are literally like, they don't even want her in the hospital with Riley. They're like, get out of here. Like, we just don't want you here, And so she has to go, and she has to go back to her dad's house. She has this estranged relationship with her dad and feeling uncomfortable. But then she starts to have weird. So remember, Mia had her situation with the spirit, but what happened was Mia took the hand herself and is going to start experimenting with it herself.
By the way, so crazy now that she has that hand with her at all times.
It is definitely crazy. And they get to a point where after he's hospitalized and the rest of the group is just totally messed up, Mia starts having visions of her dead mother. And again, she doesn't question whether this is her mom or a spirit pretending to be.
She's a good spirit.
Yeah, she just thinks, oh my God, this is my mom. And she's hearing things from the mom. She ends up doing the hand. Well, she ends up just saying, talk to me. And so she can talk to.
The movie should really be called Handshake.
It should be called Hand Job.
Or that.
She does talk to me with the hand, and she sees her mom, but it looks like a demonic version of her mom, and she's like, "Mom, did you truly kill yourself?"
That was so disturbing. They had this, I want to say a flashback or something of the mom flopping into the hallway and the dad looking at her.
Well, so the story was that the mom had taken too many sleeping pills, but had locked the door and it was trying to get help and was banging on the door and they couldn't get in. But Mia has always wondered, did she really kill herself or what? And when she talks to the spirit she thinks, she shinks.
Hey, talk to the hand.
She shinks. Who she thinks, wow, say that fine. Who she thinks is her mom. It says, no, I didn't kill myself. I didn't try to do, I didn't do that. And then she starts telling.
It's so crazy that none of these kids, they just take all of this. I mean, just, you know what I mean? Like
I have no idea what you mean. Please.
What I'm saying is like they don't even stop to think if this is a good idea.
No, of course, 100%. You're right.
I mean, I understand.
They never
Kids are
stopped to
dumb.
think. They never stopped to think as they were playing the game. They never stopped to think every
like,
time.
what's the long term?
Or they never stopped to think, what if they get a weird spirit that possessed them? They never thought it could be harmful, which is so ridiculous.
Not everyone that dies is a good person.
Yeah, and so anyway, after Mia's being haunted by these visions, she finally goes to the hospital and they let her see Riley. But while she's seeing him, it's almost like he's possessed again. He wakes up and starts banging his head against the wall again.
That was so disturbing. I was like, I had to rush there. I was not calm.
It's just like, it's almost like, it's like spirits have still taken a hold of him and they're trying to like kill Riley. He keeps banging his head and they're finally able to stop him. But so there's this weird moment where Mia, like Jade doesn't want to see her, and Mia asks Daniel, Jade's boyfriend, will you drive me home? And then she asks him to stay with her that night, which is not a wise decision to ask your best friend's boyfriend to stay with you.
Remember, they didn't do anything, so,
But it's still your best friend's boyfriend.
I know, but remember, they made such a point, like, you haven't even kissed. So
True,
really...
but Jade liked him. What kind of loyalty do you have to friends?
I have got total loyalty. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, they kept making a point of that.
Yes, but they were still boyfriend-girlfriend. They just hadn't done anything.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah. I am 100% like, don't do anything.
Yeah, well, Daniel goes home with Mia and then sleeps over, and they're sleeping in the same bed, but head to toe. So in this weird-ass scene, Mia, you think that she's having a nightmare. She sees one of the spirits she saw doing the game.
This scene is the most effective because she's sitting in the bed, Daniel's sleeping. There's something in the corner. What people can't see is that I'm literally pointing to the corner.
There is. Was it her mom first in the corner?
No, it was just this strange lady.
The first spirit she saw when she said, "Talk to me." The really creepy lady. So this spirit crawls into the bed and starts sucking on Daniel's feet.
What is up with these ghosts? They're all horny.
They're horny, but she's sucking on his feet. But anyway, in the weirdest turn of event, Mia starts saying, "Daniel, wake up! Daniel, wake up!" And he wakes up, but he sees Mia sucking on his feet, possessed.
Right, so
he gets really fucking uncomfortable.
It is so gross. But didn't you think for one quick second that Mia was going to bite his toe off?
I thought for sure she was going to bite his toe.
Are we going to see a bloody toe?
But I was at this point, I was confused. I'm like, is Mia possessed or is Mia seeing the possessed? Either way, Mia's fucked up. Like something is off. But Daniel runs out of that room so quickly. That's probably the most action he's ever had, though.
Right, a toe suck.
Other than making out with the dog.
I will say the first time I had my toe sucked, I was like, what's going on?
How many times have you had your toes sucked?
Twice.
You have an exact number. And how many times have you made out with a dog?
Never.
Twice.
Why would you even ask that?
I don't even know.
Josie Grossy.
So obviously Mia is just like, oh my God, what happened? And she doesn't know she doesn't know what's going on. And she's able to contact her mom again, who tells her that Mia needs to help Riley. And the only way to help him is by killing him because he's still possessed. And the only way to set his soul free is to kill him. And I remember thinking when I was watching this, like, are you just going to trust the spirit?
I was like, it's clearly not your mom.
Like, it's obviously not his mom.
Funky.
Yeah, and the thing is there is a scene where the friends track down the brother from the opening scene. His name's Cole.
Right, that scene went nowhere.
Well, but this was the weirdest part. They ask him about, like, what happened to your brother and everything like that. But what is the weirdest part is that they find out that the people who had the hand, Mia and Jade's friend, knew the guy Duckett, who killed himself, and still didn't even think, oh, maybe we shouldn't keep playing with this hand after someone killed himself.
You knew that some man
had killed himself after playing this game.
Took a knife, stabbed himself, but hey, let's do it.
Yeah, that scene did go nowhere. It's like they brought the brother back just to tell him, like, I don't remember what he even told them. It's like
he rode a bus.
He rode a bus and he was like, don't mess with it. Like, but it was just, he said his brother, like, it was just off, and then he
clearly
killed himself.
The message of this film is like, you can't get through to teenagers. They're gonna do what they want.
Yeah. So first, rather than jumping to just killing Riley, Mia tells Jade, like, maybe in order to get Riley back, his soul back or whatever, we forgot to close the portal. Like, part of the game is you have to light a candle and then you touch the hand, and when you release the hand, you have to you have to blow out the candle. And they forgot to blow out the candle when Riley attacked himself. So they're like, let's try it. And they try it at the hospital and it doesn't work. Big news. But then Mia decides to say, she says, talk to me. And a little girl spirit appears and she says, where is Riley?
Ooh, this was disturbing in the Rosemary's Baby kind of way.
It is. And the little girl says they have him, and you see a glimpse of him being like tortured in hell or something.
It kind of looked like, do you remember the movie Society?
Yes.
Like when there was that big orgy? It looked like a big orgy.
Without the orgy part.
Right. There was no orgy, but it looked like
they were like,
that.
It looked like they kept touching. But here's the thing. Remember, spirits don't always tell the truth in these movies.
Right. So just remember, in addition to alive people lying, spirits lie.
Exactly. And the spirits are obviously trying to get Mia to just kill Riley, but they're trying to tell her, oh, but he'll be safe if you kill her. So Riley, Mia sees this. She's very disturbed. So we get back to a weird emotional scene between Mia and her dad where she sits her dad down and she asks him, did mom really kill herself? And he's like, I know we haven't talked about this. It's been awkward, but there's something I've been wanting to tell you. Mom actually left a suicide note.
I can't believe he waited 2 years to share this.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And so he reads it's basically a note saying like, I want you guys to be happy, all this stuff. And Mia's crying. And then she sees in the corner of her eye, the spirit she thinks is her mom. And it's a spirit saying, don't believe him. It's a lie.
And by the way, her mom looks like...
She's like dripping.
She looks like she just escaped like a... do you remember the movie
swamp?
Creepshow? Yeah, she looks like... remember the Creepshow when they came after Leslie Nielsen?
Yes.
That's what she looked like.
She does not look like a normal, nice spirit, but Mia is convinced that this spirit who looks like her mom who's rotting is telling her the truth. And she's like, oh my God, like my dad's really lying to me. And then there's a really unfortunate scene where the mom spirit gets her so messed up that she thinks she's being attacked by her dad, but really it's just like a hallucination. When her real dad jumps in to try to snap her out of it, she stabs him with the scissors in the neck.
That was so disturbing, and I had a feeling it was going to go that way. I was like, this spirit is manipulating Mia, and then only to kill the dad.
Yes, and so she stabs the dad in the neck, and the dad's like, the neck is like shooting out blood, and then Mia's just like totally like crazed.
Did the dad survive?
He does, barely, because so what happens, but she, rather than getting him medical attention, I'm sorry, one thing I do have to say, I did not like the character of Mia. She was not likable.
Well, she was totally effed.
I know she was like the main character, but she just kept making bad decisions.
I mean, it was relatable.
I know it's easy to make bad decisions, but like from letting the kid do this game
I feel like I hate that I would
let the kid do the game.
No, but I mean, like,
make bad decisions,
right? Like,
stab your dad.
Yes, I mean, like, I feel like I had good intentions, but my good intentions would just blow up in my face.
I felt like they were more like slightly selfish intentions. Like
they were impulsive.
Asking the boyfriend to take her home and comfort her when you know it's your friend's boyfriend.
And there'd be some toe sucking.
And sucking his toes. Or not trusting your dad over a spirit that you don't know is a real like apparition of your mom.
I think because she's played that game so many times.
Talk to me.
She's messed up.
But she is messed up. But here's where it gets
Angela.
even worse. Hey, Angela, why are you so fucked up? So she gets to the sleepaway camp reference. She gets to the point, she leaves her dad, who's bleeding, and she decides, again, I guess she needs to move forward with this plan to kill Riley, aka set him free. So she calls Jade at the hospital and says, can you come meet me at the house?
So she does, and she does find the dad.
Well, but when she says to come meet me at the house, she uses that to get Riley alone in the hospital because Mia goes to the hospital while Jade's coming to her house.
And she has like a really nice talk with the mom.
But then she gets Riley alone. But Jade gets to the house, sees her dad bleeding profusely, finally calls an ambulance.
Still kicking.
Yes, but then calls her mom right away and says, Mom, where's Mia? And she's like, oh, she was just with Riley. And she's like, get her away from her. She's dangerous. And the mom rushes into the hotel room, into the hospital room, and Riley's gone.
Nowhere to be found. So she's like to the nurse, she's like, where's my son?
So they see finally Mia, who's just completely fucked up at this point, has Riley in a wheelchair.
And it reminded me of Mac and Me right away.
It is. She's wheeling him to the freeway. Literally, I guess she's going to try to dump him in front of traffic because that's going to set him free.
Right. She goes, if I dump this little kid in a wheelchair into traffic,
his soul will be free.
Right.
And so, of course, Jade is driving in the hospital as fast as she can. And she arrives right as she sees Mia taking Riley to the freeway. And there's, she's running and yelling yelling, Mia, stop, Mia, stop. And there's a moment when you don't know what's going to happen. And then they suddenly switch to the point of view of one of the drivers.
It was like they were crashing into something unclear as what it was.
And right away, you know they've crashed into something, but you don't know. You're like, did she push Riley in there? Was it her? Was it a rock?
Was it a kangaroo?
Was it a kangaroo? Was it a deer? Was it Minnie Driver?
Was it David Duchovny? Return to me?
And so they leave you like, what the fuck? Then suddenly it switches to you see Mia walking in the hospital and you're like, wait, what happened? And you see her looking in to the hospital room and you see Riley. It's obviously sometime in the future. Riley is now better. He's with his sister.
Looks better.
His face looks better. He's with his sister's mom and they're leaving the hospital. And then you see her walk to another hospital room and she sees her dad who's now better. And she keeps calling out to these people and no one is calling out back. And you're thinking, okay, I'm starting to get this. Maybe she died. But then in what I thought was a really fun, cool ending, everything gets dark and she sees like a candlelight at the end of like a hallway. She walks to it and there's a hand there and she puts her hand on it. And then you see it's the point of view of other people playing the talk to me game. And now Mia is the dead spirit.
It was such a full circle moment. I
just
loved
love that. Yeah.
You owe me a Coke.
Oh my God,
Cherry
Jinx.
Coke.
Here's the thing. Like, I thought this movie was so unique.
Yes. Would you say it's up there with The Exorcist?
No. But here's the thing. I really, really liked this movie. I didn't find it scary as disturbing.
Yes.
Like, there weren't moments that I was just sitting there in suspense as much as there were really highly effective, disturbing scenes.
Yes, like each time they, like all the teens would gather and they were just about to start to play Talk to Me, I was just like...
Well, it was also they were so lighthearted about it that
That's
it wasn't
what I mean.
scary.
Like it looked like they were all getting together to watch an episode of Friends.
But by no means, when I say I didn't find it incredibly scary, it doesn't mean it wasn't effective.
It was very effective.
Yes, it was very effective. The scene, I will say, the opening scene and the scene where Riley is bashing his head over and over were so disturbing and well done. Like, they made me so uncomfortable, and that's good because a horror movie is supposed to either scare you, make you uncomfortable, or just something,
or turn you on,
or turn you on. Yeah.
But I wasn't. I mean, I will say I was just like.
Were you turned on when the guy made out with the dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I was just like, because I knew that teenagers make poor decisions. I just knew that this movie would be a lot of bad decision making. Yes. So I was like, each scene when I was like, oh gosh, this is not going to end well.
I will say this, like, by no means was this movie perfect. And I will say there were a few parts that were kind of muddled. Like when it got to just Mia on her own, talking to her mom and seeing different spirits and doing stuff, it was getting a little confusing.
It was getting a little muddy, but it was also, remember when she looked down at her hands and her hands were all effed up?
Yes. Well, like there were a lot of things when you didn't know, is this reality? Is this her possessed? Is she seeing a spirit? So there was a lot of stuff where I was like, okay, I'm just going to pretend this isn't real.
Right.
But
it was kind of like, and sometimes in the old Nightmare on Elm Street films, like, oh, is this a nightmare? Or is this not a nightmare?
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes when it gets too much of that, like for some of the movie, I thought she actually was talking to her mom. But then when the spirit kept saying, kill Riley, don't believe your dad, I started to get, okay, this isn't her mom. Right. But I actually thought it was her mom at the beginning.
Me too. I was like, oh, how cool. Like her mom's going to help her.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I thought so too. I was like, oh, maybe. And for a split second, I was like, she said, oh, if you kill Riley, he'll be, released or something. And for a second, I was like, oh, maybe he will. Then I'm like, no, obviously
right,
they're
but,
just.
But, the movie made it very clear, like clearly her mom, because she looks scary.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't her mom.
It wasn't her mom. That's the thing. Her mom wouldn't be a rotting
corpse.
I guess
she is, but
she is literally, but like, I guess, but like there were some moments that I thought were a little muddy and a little cluttered. With that said, though, I think the reason I like this so much is because I've never there's a million supernatural movies, there's a million ghost stories, there's a million possession movies.
That's what I mean. Like I walked into this movie thinking like I'm not going to believe any of this because I saw the trailer. I was like, how good could it be?
But I have never seen a movie like this with this sort of game involved, with this sort of like people possessing themselves for fun. It was just so unique.
It really had the strengths of a good cast, a good script, and fantastic editing.
Yes,
because I think another, no pun pun intended when I say this, in other people's hands, it could be shit.
Well, and like when you mentioned the cast, all the performances were great. I mean, Sophie Wilde as Mia was incredible. I thought it was Joe Bird who played Riley. He must be incredibly young, but he played those scenes when he was possessed so well. I mean, Daniel was good. Jade was good. The mom was good. Everyone, it was just a very strong cast.
It was a strong cast. I was rooting for everybody. I wanted everyone to
We were all rooting for you.
That's a Tyra Banks. But and it was directed by two guys, right?
Yes, it was directed by Danny Philippou and Michael Philippou. To take it, they're brothers. That's cool. And written by Danny and Bill Hinsman, based on a concept by Daley Pearson. The thing is that I just, sometimes it takes like having foreign horror to get some unique stuff. I mean, not to knock American horror. There's most of my favorite horror movies are American horror movies. Fatal Attraction, yeah. No, but like sometimes it's cool, like especially when you get a movie like this, which I think started in film festivals and it got so much good press that now it's like released theatrically in America.
Our theater was packed.
Oh my God, packed. And that's the thing. Like, I just think, here's the thing. There have been a lot of like somewhat okay and somewhat good horror movies released in the last number of months, but this is going to be one that I think is going to be one of the best of the year.
You know what I really miss? I miss a movie about like grief, like Boogeyman.
Oh God. Speaking of a movie that's not going to be one of the best of the year, Boogeyman.
Yeah. Oof.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you get a movie like this, very unique plot, good performances, disturbing parts, some good scary scenes, but some kind of confusing scenes. But at the end, such a great ending that just like summed it up. I loved. First off, I would have been really pissed if the ending was she killed the brother and she survived.
Right? She's like, doop, doop, doop.
She's like, sorry about it.
He dead. Sorry, have fun in that 405 traffic.
Oh my God. She's like, sorry, I was releasing
Even
him.
though it wasn't in California, it was in Australia, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That 405 trap. Maybe Australia
Does
has
the
a 405
go into
Australia? Yes,
yeah.
It goes from California through the Pacific Ocean into Australia.
Okay, making sure.
It's just a few hour drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, but it was just really good, and I feel like number one, I think it's going to have staying power. I think that word of mouth is going to be good for this, even though it already had good hype.
Will it beat Barbie?
Probably not.
I love that you actually were.
I know. I actually because for a second I was trying to do the time of like how many weeks was Barbie. Barbie was only out 1 week before Talk to Me, so no, it'll never be Barbie. But like the thing is with this movie, I just think that like it's going to be a movie people remember because it's unique.
It took me I drove home and. I got home. Usually I can get all the way home, get into bed and not think about it. I was like, what
were you like, talk to me?
And then the movie started talking to me.
No, were you like, were you sitting in bed thinking about it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like usually I can forget. I was like, what did I do today?
Yeah, to be honest, the scenes that scared me the most, because again, I wasn't totally scared, but that first time she said, talk to me, and then the camera showed that there was a spirit literally sitting right in front of her. That like, oh my God, like I just scared the shit out of me.
The scene that really got to me was when I knew when that little brother, when they went past 50 seconds, I was like, this is going to be terrible. And it was. Watching that little kid, I don't like to see little kids get hurt.
But you like to see big kids get hurt.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah. I agree. That was one of the most effective scenes. But and one thing I will say, it's funny you mentioned The Exorcist, because I feel like maybe it is similar to here's the thing. Some people say that Exorcist is the scariest movie of all time.
I said The Sexorcist.
The Sexorcist. That's the porn version. No, but when I saw The Exorcist, I thought it's incredibly disturbing. I wasn't like, oh my God, terrified. I found it incredibly effective and disturbing. And that's similar to how I felt about this movie. So maybe it was sort of like The Exorcist.
It's been a long time since I've seen a movie where I was like, I kind of want to look away for a second or two.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was just like, break this tension.
But not because it was like Rob Zombie style violence. It was because it was effective violence.
I was like, you set up these characters. I genuinely don't want to see them get hurt.
Yes, exactly. And also like they're so innocent. And then you also don't know what's happening because every time they say talk to me, it's a different spirit.
I just love that it's called talk to me.
Hey, talk to me.
Hey, talk to me.
What's funny though, I mean, if you want to be specific, the talk to me part is like the more calm thing when you can just see the spirit. Once you say I'll let you in, then you get possessed. So it should have been called I'll let you in.
But that sounds like our movie Come In.
Yes, or a porn.
Right. So
hey, Tim, do you ever say I'll let you in to your dates?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, then they come in and we watch like an episode of Friends.
Or like Golden Girls.
Yeah, we think that's fun. Mm-hmm. I just mean like I wonder if I would even like the movie if it didn't have that fun title.
Okay, of course you would have.
Like if it was called like
Kangaroos.
Possession,
Oh.
Kangaroo Possession, I don't know if I'd be interested. Because it takes place in Australia.
I get it. I'm glad that you correct me. I totally would have kept going with the deer. No, I would have been like, so they ran over
Deer
a deer.
Possession?
Deer possession. Like you're writing a letter. Deer possession. How's it going? No, I mean, the title is effective because you remember it, Talk to Me, but it also, at least it works.
What
that's
was the
line.
kangaroo sound when it made when it was hit? I can't believe you're making fun of a dead kangaroo. You are terrible.
First off, I'm making fun of a dying kangaroo.
Well,
and secondly,
I just think,
you asked me.
Well, it's called looping. Like the looping went a little crazy.
They had let me just say it's a lot of dying kangaroo sounds.
It was a lot. They put out, they're like, full force, not enough.
Anyway, that is our review of Talk to Me. You definitely should check it out at a theater and then talk to me about it.
Come
Get
on.
it?
Come back here, talk to us.
Anyway.
That's the sequel, Talk to Us.
Oh my God, what if it is? It's like, and then you have to do it as a group and you all put your hands on, you say, talk to us.
Yeah, talk to them.
And then it'll be, I still want you to talk to me.
And then I was like,
I'll always talk to me.
Yes, I'll
God.
always talk to you.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Okay,
you're right.
we could go on forever.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Happy Horror Time.
This podcast is hosted by Tim Murdoch and myself, Matt Emmert. It's co-produced by Jacob Randall.
We release new episodes every Monday, and we switch off between reviewing new horror films with spoilers and interviewing horror stars. So there's something for everyone.
You can listen to the podcast directly from our website. That's www.happyhorrortime.com, or from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you stream podcasts. And if you'd like to support us, please sign up to be a patron at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. Patrons get access to our monthly bonus episodes where we discuss past horror films according to a theme. They get to vote on those themes. They get our monthly newsletter, The Happy Horror Times, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Happy Horror Time.
And since our movie reviews do contain spoilers, we always post the films we're going to review a few days in advance on our social pages, just in case you want to watch them beforehand and be in the know with us.
And finally, if you'd like to contact us directly, send an email to happyhorrortime@gmail.com. We especially love it when you tell us how sexy we are.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.